All right, we're back. Back with another video today. Pre's mixed up, heading to the gym. Got my knee sleeves ready. Gearing up for another leg day. Leg day is growing on me. I have to say. A couple. Say when I first started working out, I really didn't like legs. I would skip them like everybody. Not a big fan of legs, man, but it kind of grew on me. But today, guys, I want to talk about progress over perfection. That's what we're going to title this video. So that's what you're going to see. That's what's going to get into your mind, make you click on this. But anyways, I want to talk about progress over perfection. A lot of times it doesn't take a genius to look around on TikTok, Instagram, wherever, fitness industry, and see this whole, what is the perfect split? What is the perfect diet? What is the perfect vitamin stack? What is the perfect things that you can do to perfectly hit this? And I'm not saying that you should not strive to do the best stuff. I listen to that stuff and I read in and I look at some of the research and listen to some of the guys talk about different splits and stuff. And, I kind of gauge that, mix that with how things work for me. And, you always do want to try to do the things that is the best for you. Sure. But sometimes we try to hold ourselves to a standard of, well, if you're not doing this perfectly, then you're done. Like, you're not going to be able to progress. You're not going to ever be successful. And that's really not true. You kind of need to, you need to be able to do things and not have that weight of perfection on you, and that's a hard thing to do because, a lot of people are passionate about this, man. The gym is something in the fitness industry. You have so many back and forth and so many people getting on each other and all this kind of stuff because people are just passionate about it. And I get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm passionate about it, and I love it. But sometimes we beat ourselves up. Sometimes we beat other people up. And we don't have to. Progress is what's important. The gym is about little steps. That's what it's about. It's about that everyday, consistent, driving to the gym, taking your pre-workout, hitting those leg days that you want to skip. It's about that, small progress over time, the little steps, the build-up, And I just think that we kind of get in our heads a lot about trying to achieve this level of perfection that's really not there. There's never going to be a perfect split or perfect diet or anything. For one, people just work differently. Some people have different, ways of life, lifestyles and things like that, and you're doing different things. And, you want to be able to enjoy what you're doing and enjoy your fitness journey and enjoy your improvement and all this stuff. But you also want to make sure you're progressing, right? That you got to be careful with it. You don't want to just, I'm going to do whatever I want to enjoy it, and then you're not really progressing. But for the most part, I think people get a little crazy about the whole perfection thing, trying to really get this superior way of working out. And that's not good for your self-confidence. That's not good for your mentality, because you feel like, I'm constantly like, well, I'm not doing the perfect thing, so I'm not going to be anything. We're good. And it kind of drives people away, because it almost becomes like a toxic group of people that are just hating on each other for what each other likes to do. Like I said, there's obviously wrong ways to work out, obviously, and there's right ways to work out. But progress is what determines the right way to work out. If you're making progress doing what you do, you might be making a little bit more. But if you enjoy what you're doing and you're making progress, good progress, then, hey, stick with it. Don't feel fledged to, yes, this split is a little better, or these vitamins are a little better. This will make a little bit of a difference. And they'll make a little bit of a difference. But it might not work for your schedule. People have jobs and things like that. And like I said, don't get me wrong here. It's always good to look at the science, look at the studies and stuff, and really pay attention to that and know, what's coming out and what works and what doesn't. Sometimes you think something you might like doing isn't good and doesn't work and it could lead to injury. Sometimes you have to stop doing that. But if you're progressing and you're doing a good workout and a good movement, good exercises that are benefiting you, you're not getting hurt, nothing wrong with them. You know, you gotta we gotta lose sight of this, flawless execution of working out that we're trying to make the staple of the fitness industry. We gotta look more at this. Hey man, we gotta progress. It's about like that 1% better every day. Are you showing up? Are you working out? Are you working out with intensity? Working out hard? Are you growing? Are you eating right? And that's kind of what it stems from. You kind of have to question, okay, am I progressing? And then if the answer is yes, then good. Could you be progressing better? Okay, then you get to that. But if no, you have to look at everything you're doing. What's your diet like? What's your sleep like? What's your split like? How intense are you working out? What's the quality of your workouts? I mean, sometimes it's easy. You go work out with a couple buddies and stuff in high school, and you're in there, and you're in there for 2.5 hours, but you're not working out that hard because you're talking and laughing and having a good time, and that's okay. But you have to understand that maybe that's why you're not progressing. Maybe that's what's holding you back. So, okay, hold on. So, guys, I got this gallon jug in here I drink out of. It's just like sliding around, and I'm really worried it's going to tip over. Like, it leaks a little bit out of the lid. I really don't want that to get everywhere because I can't reach that. Anyways, but so if you're not progressing, you got to look at several things. You got to look at what your efforts like, look at what you're doing, what you got going on. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. Listen to the guys. Obviously, their guys are way smarter than me, and I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I am, because I think at the end of the day, your progress is what's the most important. You know, Everybody progresses differently at a different level. Some people, they just hit some exercise, man, they're blowing up. And I think that some of it is that some people don't work the same way as others. And that's something that I've always felt kind of weird, because I feel like, like I said, there could be other explanations for this. I'm sure there is, but I have met people who genuinely do different exercises and stuff like that. Stuff that I would never do that, and they genuinely grow good. And they, what I'm saying, people do a lot of. I know people that do a lot of high volume, CrossFit training and stuff. And I mean, they're not about to hop on stage bodybuilders, but they're very fit people, and they're very have a lot of muscle on them, and they're lean. And I mean, a lot of that composition resides in your diet as far as your body composition, but they've got some muscle on them. And I don't do high volume. I do kind of a lower volume workout split, but I think it is neat. Some people just respond to. Excuse me. Some people respond to different training methods differently, and that's kind of the beauty of it, I guess. That you don't, like I said, there's not a single way to work out. There's not this one golden way of, come and do this split, eat this, and then you're just perfect. And there's no other way to do it. There's different ways to do it, different exercise, and that's what's so cool about it. But just don't get in your head, guys, about trying to be perfect and trying to get every little minor detail right. Make sure you're progressing. That is important. As long as you are, play around with it, have fun with it. If you find something that helps you progress a little better, stick with that. A lot of times we beat ourselves up, man. We look and we see all these people who are saying this is how you work out, this is how you train and stuff, and then we feel like, oh, well, there's no validity in what I'm doing because I'm not doing this because this person said this, and maybe, and you got to look at it as like, oh, well, you can use that as a tool to get better, but not necessarily be perfect. Progress makes the difference. That's what we need to stick with. Stop signs. 1% better every day. What's that? Sorry guys, I'm trying to think of that. There's like a saying. It's like Japanese or something. I can't remember. It's really cool though. But that's what it is. It's like constant improvement or something like that. That's kind of where you get the idea of, is that you don't have to come in 50% better. Your goal is not to double your progress every day. But are you at least moving the ball forward? And that's great. If you come in and you're progressing, 50% a day every day, congratulations. That's just not how it works. That's not realistic. You're gonna have your slower days, but that's why emo days. Emo days you don't feel the best. You don't feel like doing it or this, that, other. Make sure you just try to keep that momentum going. 1%, 2%. Keep rolling a little bit. Give it all you have, and if all you have is, a little bit better, and that's as good as you need to do. But it's Sunday, guys. Churches are open. It's 10:30. People are lining in the doors. It's a beautiful thing. There's an aspect of that helps you grow and get better every day. It's true. So, take this week, guys. Give yourself a little bit of a break on the perfection. Make sure you're progressing, but don't swamp yourself. Don't overexert yourself. You start mentally wearing yourself out whenever you're striving for that perfection all the time, constantly. Make sure you're progressing. If so, put it on the back burner a little bit if you need to. Don't burn yourself out. Excuse me. Why am I yawning so much? I'm yawning so much, and I don't know why. I'm not tired at all. So keep that in mind, guys. Think about this. Take today. Look at your life. Are you really criticizing yourself hard? Are you on yourself hard about being perfect? If you are, man, hey, take a chill pill. Stick to tracking your progress. It's the little stuff. Make sure you're tracking your foods, however you do. Make sure you're scaling your weight. Make sure you're looking at some progress pictures. Take a couple pictures. Make sure you're tracking. Do you look different today than what you did 2-3 months ago? If so, you're making progress. If you're slowing down, pick it up. Most of the time we know what to do. We know exactly what to do. A lot of times we just kind of look for answers. But really we know the answer. We got to work a little harder. And I think that's part of the reason why people are looking for this perfect split, because they want to find a way that isn't, they might be a little easier. Maybe they can do this, and everybody's looking for that, that 5-minute ab workout. It's going to get you a 6-pack on YouTube, and that's just not what it is. So cut yourself a little bit of slack. Don't drain yourself. Make sure you're progressing. Keep working hard. Take this next couple days. You guys can take tomorrow. I won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's rest day. So get some other stuff in the works. Get these videos uploaded. Be back Tuesday. So take some time. Think about what I said today, yesterday, day before. Put it into action, guys. Prove something to yourself that you can do it. Don't just say you're going to do it. Drop some comments. Let me know what I can improve on. Let me know if you agree with how I felt in this video. I might not be right. Maybe you guys can explain it to me better. So I'm always open to criticism. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys Tuesday.